the book of Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3, and it reads, Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and his song. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my power, and I will prepare him a habitation, my father's power, and I will exalt him. Verse 3, the point, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is his name. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, all glory to call Elohim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. And so shalom to the Akim, Aqua, out there listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but home subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. So brother Yahweh Sab coming at you with another lesson through the spirit, through the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be. Ba'ashem, Ba'as in, Ha'az Dashem, his name. Yahushai meaning he saves, or he deliverer. True names of the Most High God and the Son, who these people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And this lesson is inspired by I was just listening to some lessons. You know, a brother made a video, and you know it was through the spirit though, because it's just funny. Like the spirit just be so on point all the time. Yeah. Like recently, well, I ain't even gonna speak on it, but you know, again, I don't have any brothers' numbers anymore because I don't want to put a brother in a situation. You know how the truth goes. You know, as far as you know, pretty much if you leave the camp or you get kicked out, you know, unless it's reconciled, you know, which I'm saying that happened, more than likely, you know, you don't come back. But, you know, so not to be tempted or not to get anybody jeopardized, get anybody in trouble. Because, you know, you got brothers with relationships more closer than with other brothers or whatever the case may have you, you know. So in order to not, you know, I just deleted everybody's number, you know what I mean? But something spiritually happened, you know what I mean? And I think that was just the will and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But saying all that to say this, I got some perspective because again, you know how you can just feel certain things, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, you don't know what the outcome of something going to be until it takes place. You know, some could have, like the brother used the example of a woman. You know, you meet a woman, and you know, because of the fact that it's a new situation, and you know, you meeting the representative, not the actual person, you know what I mean? Because people don't show you their true character until when, you know, you put in situations, you know? And that's just the fact of the matter, you know what I mean? People, you know, some of the people you thought was your best friend or had love for you don't show you who they truly are or what they think about you or feel about you until you need them. And that's just fact. That's why brothers talking about being careful, be mindful of what you're saying on here, you know, all these different things. But the thing of it is, all this is the will of the Lord. You know, at the end of the day, you can't outbox, outsmart, outmaneuver the Lord. You know what I mean? You know how many times I call myself, I'm gonna do this, not do that, and then the shit work out. I mean, but again, you supposed to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. You know, the scriptures talk about don't tempt the Lord. So basically, I mean, it's a lot going on in my mind, but saying all that to say this, I hope the Lord help me to calm it, you know. At the end of the day, though, brother made a statement about, you know what I mean, don't assume you know what the will of the Lord is, you know. The will of the Lord is when the outcome, you know what I mean? You might have tried to, you know, like for instance, for example, I did everything to try to hold on to my demon. So, you know, because again, the family unit is stronger when you know, when a man and a woman's in the household, you know. But the thing is, it's not that might not be the will of the Lord. So if it's not the will of the Lord, you know, again, and the Lord, wisdom's gonna try you. You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of brothers experience this, you know, it be the Lord that tests you first with the woman. You know, you're gonna give her up. He might test you with your children, you're gonna give them up. You know, it's many ways the Lord could try you to see, because if you can't even let go of those things, how are you gonna say that you really ready to, like, pretty much give up the spirit for the Lord? You don't even want to give up, this worldly things, your family. You don't want to give up. You don't want to give up certain things in the flesh. Put it like that. You got people that don't want to give up jobs, careers. You got people that, again, want to maintain, the fit in this world. And that's another thing that showed you, how to expose that individual, that deacon, showing you how you got a lot of men. And that's, again, like brother say, that's a scary thing, because you got these men that's pretty much in charge of, the spiritual salvation of other men. And, the scriptures talk about false pastors. We know Jeremiah chapter 23 is one. I'm all over the place for real. But the lesson is truly about, I brought out Exodus chapter 15 because, everything's the will of the Lord. I've been bringing out scriptures about the will of the Lord, the will of the Lord, the will of the Lord. And it's very important to understand the will of the Lord. You know what I mean? That's why the brother made the statement about don't be so hasty to, move based on your feelings. Now, ultimately, everything, man's going is of the Lord, like the elder apostle just said in the video. So no matter what move you make, it's ultimately the will of the Lord, But at the same time, sometimes like for instance, you could be of the Lord's elect, but you could make a rash decision and pretty much put yourself in a dire situation. What's the forefather, the heathen book of Judges, Jephthah, that pretty much made that hasty quote, that hasty oath to the Lord about the first person that walked through the door is going to be pretty much going to be sacrificed, and then it ended up being something that he cared about because the Lord put him to the test. It was ended up being his daughter. So, I see where the brother coming from, but that was all the will of the Lord too, to try and test that man. And I'm not condoning it again. Like I said, my life is already hard. But, you can see certain shit. Again, certain people don't aspire to certain positions in life without being connected to this system. And that's just the fact of the matter, is the truth. Don't get me wrong, the Lord can literally, a righteous person can have wealth over here. You got brothers that are doing well off, or doing better than a lot of brothers that actually carry brothers. I met a few of them. But saying all that to say this, ultimately, whatever predicament you end up in, because we plan out judgment, is ultimately the will of the Lord. So, and there's too many scriptures that go into that. Man's goings is of the Lord. The Lord ordered the man's steps. He sealeth his instruction while he's sleeping. All these different, that's the spirit. So anyhow, these individuals, these elites trying to, DJ Trump, which DJ Trump really don't want to stop the war. That's why they plotting behind closed doors with Iran in order to try to send their ground troops. So, I just saw something that, again, it made me think about the devil, the liar, and at the end of the day, our will is the Lord's will going to be done. Scripture talk about, in the book of Isaiah chapter 46, it says, declaring my counsel and the Lord doing his pleasure, basically that word counsel, I forgot what's the Hebrew word, but it basically goes into his plans, the Lord's plans, because at the end of the day, everything is based on the will of the Lord. So, like the elder said, you can't really be mad at certain things, when certain things, like I was thinking about that today, because I'm like, damn, like I found out something personally about me and I never knew that. And I was like, God damn, because my father always told me something else. Like my father and I both share a name, okay, which is deep, right? And I always thought it was that, but I never checked into it. And something just had me check into it, and it means something totally different. And I was like, wow. So it's real, spiritual. So saying all that to say this, at the end, like the elder said, he was talking about that lady, Kathy Fitzgerald. I'm familiar with her as well, and he was saying how she speaks against the MOTB, but at the same time, or in the digital system, but at the same time, what she doesn't understand is this is all biblical prophecy. And that's what all of this, you know what I mean? Like, again, all you could do, because when you take the time to think about it, you literally coming back, and, you know, no matter who you is, a man of the Lord, or, you know, a motherfucker just extra in the movie to be destroyed, you coming back to, you know, receive your judgment for what you have done in the flesh from lives before. So, you know, when you really take the time to really sit and meditate and think about it, and then you looking at it like, you know, on a spiritually mature level, you're like, well, damn, how you really gonna get mad? You know, because at the end of the day, all of this is the will of the Lord. Oh my God, why is this bus just sitting there? And it's super hot, you know, but it is what it is. So let me play this. First, I gotta say fair use, fair use. I just was rambling for like 10 minutes, but this is not meant to be long. It's a video. What's going on? It's a video by Dabu. I mean, this person waited to the last minute to go. That's crazy. Let me hurry and get from behind. I literally just... Okay, so let me play this. Shouldn't be on though. Oh God. And you know what's so funny? Jake was just talking about how everything moving so slow. And this is a brand new phone. My phone wasn't doing this. Now all of a sudden my shit moving slow.
All at once to upgrade your heating and cooling. Right now, you can get a brand new mini split system installed with $0 down and 0% interest financing. It's a compact wall-mounted unit that handles both heating and cooling in one system.
We have some major moves here on the war front between the US and Israel and Iran, with Iran halting all messages with the US now, and they're saying that once again, Donald Trump and his administration is lying. That's all they know how to do. And by now, the American people should see that as well. They say every other day, a deal's about to be worked out by tomorrow morning. And
it made me think of what's that, John 8:44, the father of lies. You know, this man, the devil, you know, I brought that out of camp. You know, you got so many of our people so, like, just discombobulated, you know, and that's why I say let them stay joined onto him. Fuck a 2/3 ass nigga. You know, I listened to the elder from the West, and he was like, you know, pretty much, he was in the spirit, though, because he like, shit, as much as you literally pretty much, you know, lied on us, you know, because nobody condoned it. We was, you know, pretty good. Because I pretty much preach the same gospel that I learned, you know, because it's nothing with the gospel. I literally came to the realization, like, you can't even really be mad at some shit that happened, because all of it's the will of the Lord. Now, that's easier said than done, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, damn, how you gonna really be mad? Because, again, that's like saying you're gonna be mad at who's the Lord's elect. And you can't be mad at who the Lord elect. Just because you don't think it's the Lord's elect, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord did, you know, every man ain't created equal. And that's deep, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you really need to sit and wrap your brain. Like, individuals be like, they understand and they get it and all that. But, yo, you like, I did all this work. That's in the scriptures. I did put in all this work for you. And the Lord said, depart from me because I never knew thee, you know? That's crazy. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, there's so much going on, and I was gonna bless her, but at the same time, you know, we gotta give our people some tough love too. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'd rather gave her a piece of fruit or something. You know what I mean? I should have told her I got some fruit for you, because you know what I mean. Like, shit getting hard, and then I've seen Jake. Like, I know for a fact you would get Jake your last little change trying to do something, you know, positive or righteousness, and then I watched yesterday a dude sitting up here getting money, and this nigga going to get high with it, and he Northern Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'll be pissed off. Like, I bet you them individuals that gave him the change to be pissed off. I know the shit hard, but I know for a fact they not beating. I know for a fact they got an apartment, all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you start to see how much of a nigga, Israel is, you know what I mean? Like, that's just like niggas, man. And the Lord is about to kill a lot of niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. But Salakia for being all over the place. I'm gonna probably name this various topics. And this ain't really meant to be long. I just thought of a few different scriptures, But again, you got a lot of people trusting in DJ Trump, and when they realize that this man been lying the whole time, it's gonna be too late. I mean, it's like the devil was really with him when the Lord gave him the left hand power to go ahead and just deceive these people. But it's like the hopeful elect, like we just shielded from it, Scriptures talk about the Lord being a shield and buckler onto us. So, you know what I mean? Like, but these other people really believing that this dude gonna make shit better. You know what I mean? And they know they taking a beat. Motherfuckers know they taking a beat. They just, come on. Even Dabu gonna say, you got motherfuckers barely can eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit ain't no, again, I would have felt sad for it, but I don't really feel sad. You know what I mean? Like, again, I know Jake full of shit, being exposed with the dude, the deacon. You supposed to be this super righteous man. You talk all, he don't stutter or nothing. He talk all clearly. He got that good Edomite voice. That's probably why the elder said he garbage on the rap side. Because imagine, like, it ain't no bass, it ain't no, it ain't none of that. It's just, he's talking like a Poindexter and shit. Salakia. And then just a total nigga, though. That's crazy. The Lord got jokes, man. Like, here, Salakia, though. Back to the video.
People just take it hook, line, and sinker. The markets react. And then a day or two later.
And the crazy part is he keeps saying that shit. Because, like I said, again, to show you how simple the people are. He talk about it's a ceasefire. He say, how it's going to be a ceasefire if they still shooting at each other? So this how full of shit, like, again, and, you never know who working behind the scenes with Iran. Because, again, you got to remember, it's a whole world order of this, pretty much they all come under this system. And pretty much, Iran wants to control that region because basically everybody's trying to do what's best for, their situation, So back into the video.
This happens. No deal. It all falls apart. Iran says they're lying and oil jumps again. What this is doing is dragging this whole thing out.
And it's going to keep on jumping because, like I said, I was listening to the one brother from England. I don't call out names, but and that brother was going to, he was just meditating on it, and he was going to, I don't know where he got the information from. Like, I can't really, like, study when I'm at work, you know what I'm saying? Because, you don't get all the intricate details. I can go back and, like, listen to it again later because it was a very good video, but he was going into, it makes more sense. Because you're like, well, how the fuck y'all going to do all this if these data centers ain't, like again, these companies, it ain't profitable right now to have AI. But he was saying, but pretty much when it's less people on the earth, it's going to be profitable. Because it's fewer people to use the resources, and at the same time, they controlling, they ain't even managing, they trying to control all the resources. Like I said, think about, he wanted to, basically, it's going to be illegal to have children. And they show you that, and what's the, that movie, What Happened to Monday or something like that? Where the dude was only allowed to have one child, but he had like 6 children. So he made them all say their names was the same name. Which, like I say again, I never watched it, but I know about it. I think it's the dude, what's his name? Damn, William Dafoe, which he a good actor. I think he played in Platoon, didn't he? He played in one movie, I can't remember, but the dude left him from dead. And then he said the dude was dead. I think that was Platoon. They said he was like, he had a position. I think he was like a sergeant, or he was somebody, but pretty much it was a guy that didn't like him. I think it was Tom Berenger, and he pretty much said he was dead. And then while they left him, and when come to find out that they up in the air and couldn't help him, they found out he was still alive, so they had to watch him die. And he taking motherfuckers out. The spirit was on him. He fucking shit up, but he ended up dying. That was a good man's movie, man. But showing you war, showing you devastation, and that shit coming, man. Because like he said, when it's a lack of resources, it show you that in these different shows. Like, for whatever reason, like, I watched the whole season of Fear Walking Dead until they stopped it. So, man, again, it was very interesting. No, the Walking Dead. Now I've been watching Fear the Walking Dead, and it just show you how people make pacts. People try to, pretty much it's conquest. When there's a lack of resources, motherfuckers, yeah. Like I said, again, they said that in Fear the Walking Dead. They said, it's a saying, if you can't hold on to what's supposed to be yours, it was never yours to begin with. So they say the strong eat the weak and all, yeah. So if the Lord ain't with you, I mean, like I said again, and even amongst a group of people, you know what I mean? Like, again, all right. The Lord, we go see, like the elder always say, you go see who the Lord is truly with. So again, yeah, you gotta, be merciful to Lord willing to receive mercy, Again, I hold no grudge amongst towards any man, you know what I mean? Because I don't want nobody to hold, being humble is the key to this thing. Because the proud, again, I quoted it earlier. What does it say? Pride cometh before destruction and a haughty spirit before fall. I know that's in the book of Proverbs. So I'm going to play the rest of this because I keep on stopping it. And like I said, I got just one final scripture because at the end of the day, it's all based on courts of the Lord.
Out to where it's going to have devastating consequences, and most people not realizing it because Trump is making sure they're padding the pumps here at the gas station, making sure that it doesn't go any higher than the range that it's at right now. He can control that. He is controlling that. It's all manipulated, and he's going on Truth Social saying everybody just sit back and relax. It'll all work itself out in the end. That's what he's saying. While people out here are struggling to get by. Really ticked off. Ton of people, left and right, just exploding at this. It's only going to get worse, I'm telling you. We're at a point already where if they took the time to clean up all the mines and they struck a deal today, it would take months to get back to regular order. Months. That's if it happened today. We're nowhere near that. So you just remember that before anything goes back to a normal type of situation, months of clearing mines has to go down and all that, even once they get a deal done. So they have fired missiles now into Kuwait. The U.S. has shot them down, and they're saying ceasefire's breached. It's done. I mean, it's kind of pathetic to sit there and say you're under a ceasefire when you're still shooting at each other.
But the people so, fucking stupid, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying like that, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta just be blunt, you know what I mean? And I ain't the most quickest with it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not fucking stupid, you know what I mean? Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And the way my brother used to say it, he was like, it ain't about you, basically how stupid you gonna be to let them get you again. It's about the fact that he said, the way he looked at it, my brother was kind of crazy. But he was like, shit, it's gonna be a shame of what I'm gonna do to you. You know what I mean? Like, so, but we gotta, my brother was a character. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, again, these people, and I remember the brother from KC was saying that. He said, when these people so docile, they gon' not really want to do anything until the Lord got it perfectly set up. Like, it's appearing like that, but whatever the Lord's will gonna be, and we know what the Lord's will is gonna be, certain things gonna take place. I've been reading 2 Ezra chapter 15, they not gonna regard the kings and princes, and you gonna see that. Let this shit get bad enough, like I said again, I see what it is, you know what I mean? And I'm on the street with a bunch of niggas again, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, again, I'm just saying, I know how deadly serious my situation is. That's why, again, like, we ain't doing no faking, no fucking, no, you know what I mean? And stay locked in with the Lord, because again, the Lord can allow you to be touched at any time, you know what I mean? I'm so familiar with niggas, you know what I mean? A niggas be sitting up there smiling in your face and be the nigga stealing from you, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, so let alone some niggas that don't like you and you ain't from the area, right? Niggas don't care about they don't, see, like me, especially when I got the truth, I've always cared about Jake, especially when I got the truth. Now, in the world, no, I didn't give a fuck, we were so programmed to, hate each other, and part of the curses. But when I came to truth, I said, you saw the curses kind of lifting. So, you're like, damn, and, but, a two-third nigga don't look at it like that. Two-third nigga talk about a two-third nigga. You know, like the elder was saying, he said a lot of niggas don't want this to end, and they call themselves wearing fringes. They know they know who they are, and yet still because they getting they living off the teaching, getting benefits and whatnot. They don't want to get this shit up. But that's all right, because the Lord gonna pull the plug on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Again, something major about to happen. They talking about these, like I said, the Lord gave me that. I said, well, damn, that's what hyperinflation is. Because if the goods about to just flip and go, you know, like the numbers of these goods about to like increase dramatically because these bonds, like these countries is selling these bonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, yeah, this shit about to get real deal Holyfield. Yeah.
Israel, on the other hand, does whatever it wants, and it's moving into Lebanon and moving deeper into Lebanon. If it can't be dropping bombs over in one area, it's definitely going to turn and do it in another. They are going after Baalbek, without a doubt. They're going to try to seize it, because this is one of the ancient places that the Sumerians say that when the gods return, there's 4 key places.
Yeah, Dabu might be an agent. I forgot. RFB basically exposed them, which I can see, because like you said, you got, you know, what's that called? Project Zypher. You know, you got these different projects where, like, again, this shit run deep, brother. You know, this shit run deep. You know, you got a lightweight, like I said, you know, the scriptures tell you don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. My brother was like, you know, I'm down to fingers. I don't even trust, you know what I mean? So, you know, you got to be careful who your neighbor is. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful what you say. I'm to the point, you know what I mean? It ain't exciting because, again, this like a lot of the same is just intensified for me, you know what I mean? And new areas that's getting more and more, you know, wicked and more, you know, potential for violence. You get what I'm saying? More dangerous, you know, and that's why you got to lock in even more harder, you know. Again, rest coming though, brothers. You know what I'm saying? You know, I watched the brother. I didn't even watch the video. I was about to, and then something happened. I think I did end up doing the lesson, but he was like, pretty much, don't bug out. You know what I mean? Like, don't bug out. Not right now, shit. You know what I mean? That's why I might go. I'm gonna have to do something. You know what I mean? Go back to intermediate fasting or something. But, yeah. Let me finish this up, Salaki.
That are basically theirs to claim. One of those is Mount Hermon. Israel already has it. The other one is in the southern part of Iraq. And they're seizing all these locations.
And that's spiritual because the war of Armageddon or Yahweh Shaphat, you know, Yahweh's judgment, you know, is in the region of Iraq, you know, and ancient Babylon. So, you know, it's deep what he just said right there, but that ultimately Joel 2:2 is being manifest. It's never going to be a true ceasefire. They're not coming back, you know, into America, and the troops that go over there, that they may go over there, that's why they did the fucking automatic draft, is going to literally not come back over here. And that's just facts, you know. So, I'm not even gonna play the rest of this video. If you into it like that, you can go get it. But I am gonna read Ecclesiasticus chapter 18. No, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read Isaiah 42 and verse 9, or Isaiah 46. Because again, it's gonna be a war over in the Middle East, you know, or Western Asia, like the elder from China always likes to say. Now, I'm gonna probably just do Isaiah 46, because again, you know, the scriptures talk about things. I'm gonna probably get them both. I'm so tired, Slocky. Isaiah 42, and it reads, verse 9. Behold, Isaiah 42 and verse 9, behold, the former things are come to pass, and the new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. You know, and that's why they're all written in the scriptures. That's why the scriptures talk about in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, measure out the time diligently. What is the measuring tool? The scriptures. You know, because the scriptures is unlike no other book, because it's a book of prophecy. You know, you got all these so-called religions that talk about, you know, their God is this, their God is that. But the power of the scriptures literally tells you what's going. That's why. And you know what it is? I can tell. The truth makes people uncomfortable because they live in a world pretty much founded on lies. No, we live in a world, built on lies. To the point where even, Jake has helped contribute to the lies. You know what I mean? When you go into, I was going to do a video on it. I think I saved it, but like I said, this new phone kind of messed up my little way of how I did my videos. And so I had a whole bunch of like topics and whatnot, and I'm missing something now, but I think I got it. But they was going into a fact of I think his name was Johnson, and pretty much he owned a white slave, because he was more sort of like an indentured servant. But again, history is just so that shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, though. Again, this devil, because you had individuals that were Jake that pretty much bought themselves out of slavery. Ben Mardesi is one of them. But at the same time, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is the nation that stole a whole people, and it's a judgment for that. What's that? Revelation chapter 13. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed by the sword. Here's the patience and faith of the saints. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10. Because again, the Bible talks about the war of the valley of Yehoshaphat, the war of Armageddon. It says Isaiah 46 and verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying my counsel, meaning my plans. As a matter of fact, let me get that, because I've been part of teaching is breaking down words and all that. I can't wait to go to sleep. I'm so extremely tired.
Strong's H 6098. Eitzah.
And it says purpose, so it's the Lord's plan, because it's the Lord's movie, So, again, all that is not going to get better. But you can believe whatever you want. You got people that choose to believe in DJ Trump, and, hey, he going to fix this and do that. We going to get a bigger stimulus. He said we going to get bigger stimuluses. Some people didn't even get not stimulus, tax refunds. And then come to find out he played everybody on that. Oh yeah, about overtime, you could do this and do that. Well, he lied. So, and that fucked a lot of people up, because they was thinking, that pretty much it was all overtime, but it had a limit. You only could, basically only 12,000 of it qualified. So yeah, this motherfucker the devil. You know what I mean? If Jake keep on saying it, or brethren keep on saying it, he's the devil. But Jake don't understand what devil mean. Devil mean deceiver. But the Lord, the Lord is the truth. And the truth shall set you free. But a lot of people don't want to be set free. So fuck them. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10 again, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So it's the will of Yahweh Shem Shai. So his will is it's going to be a major world war. The third war is past. Woe means destruction. I know I butchered that. I think it's the second war is past and third one come quickly. Roughly paraphrase. Why is this person going so fucking? Oh my God. He acting like he driving a Cadillac. This dude got a PT Cruiser. Oh my God, Jake funny as fuck. Oh my God. People. I ain't saying dog your little car, but what I'm saying is he whipping that bitch slow there, motherfucker, like that bitch a Cadillac or something. I say, oh, this nigga's funny. The Lord got a sense of humor, man. So with that, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law. A nigga, I implore you to come back to the law, statute. But he don't know nothing about how this gas fucking up all our cars, right? Funny, hilarious. So with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Elohim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Akwat that listen and learning. Lord willingly, this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appear like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwab Yasharala and Bawath Lababal.